All right. Lord have mercy. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the conversation. I'm your host, of course, Yolanda. Listen, I don't even know where to start tonight, but I know one thing. I have my wine, and I am live from Vegas. I'm here on a business trip. Mind your business. But anyway, I went to Pink Box for sugar because it's like that, because it's about to be real crazy up in here as we talk about this final episode of How to Get Away with Murder. Y'all, it has been a wild and crazy ride for the past 6 years. Shonda wrapped it up tonight in pure Shonda form. I'm sure as many of you all were who've been following this show from the beginning were probably a little bit emotional. I was a lot emotional. Like I boohoo, ugly cried. I'm glad I was here by myself. But we are here. And before we jump in, make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe at all things social media at the Convo Pod Show so that you can stay connected. So listen, questions, comments, all of that, we can see them. So make sure that you drop them in the comments so that we can see it. And of course, it's so that you can tune in and join us in the conversation. But before we jump into the good stuff, I have to introduce my co-host as always. You all know him as Roderic Montrece. I know him as my poo-poo. Y'all better say hello to Roderic. And of course, Lucy. And of course, LaPorsha. Hey y'all, how y'all doing? Okay, so let's start with what's everybody drinking. Let's start there. Who's drinking what?
I just got some water because my nerves were too bad. I didn't want to be on the floor, so I just got straight up water.
What you got, Lucy?
I got a little margarita.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Ay. Is that a toast to Christoph at the end? Oh shit! Spoiler alert, y'all! Gigantic spoiler alert! I forgot all that. I'm just caught up. If you haven't seen the show, don't tune in until you've seen the final episode because there's so much we have to unpack. What you drinking, LaPorsha? A whole bottle? Wait a minute, hold on, but we can't hear you. Hold on. Your mic was muted. Okay, say again. We couldn't hear you.
There's not a cup big enough, so we just gonna drink at the
So you taking it straight to
it's not a cup big enough. It's not at all. It's just I don't even no.
Okay. So for those of you who are just tuning in, we are talking about the final episode of the season of How to Get Away with Murder. There is so much that we have to unpack. Obviously, our co-host, Roderic Montrece, Lucy Frierson, of course, LaPorsha Lowry. We're waiting on Verbena. She's probably still sitting down somewhere crying because we all were texting during, and yeah, she might be somewhere crying. We're going to give her a second for her to join in. So, of course, I don't even know how we can even tackle this, but I'm gonna ask each of you, and I'll start with you, Rod. What do you think the most shocking moment was of tonight's episode?
So first, having a mission, because I guess what the question was, because the ending part got muddled for me because somehow my screen froze. So I just saw Frank walking through the crowd, something froze, and then I just saw Bonnie, Frank. So I don't know how that happens. We're able to get to that point. So I'm gonna put that as the X. I think the most shocking moment for me was one that Blackity Poppins didn't make an appearance. I thought sure Blackity Poppins, Michaela's dad, was gonna show up with his Blackity Poppins magic. So that was kind of shocking. And the other one was that actually the Annalise got off with all the charges. That was actually the most shocking.
We knew that. We knew she was coming through. Well, I'm gonna get back to that in just a second. What else? Do you think those are two most shocking? Right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Were those the two most shocking moments for you?
Those two were like the two big ones at the top of the list. Everything else went from grades of annoyance. I have to say, okay, if full fairness and disclosure, Nate isn't as trash as I've been giving him.
I was coming to that.
Now, mind you, I still wouldn't trust a ninja to take me a milkshake in the summer, but I would. He did not disappoint. So that
For
was shocking.
the last 2 episodes, I told you you were gonna owe Nate an apology, and you said, "Hell no, it's never gonna happen." And Nate came through in the end, turned down the 20 million. Was like, and I'm still gonna get my coins, and it's still gonna be fine. You got to give it to him. You got to give it to him. So before I ask you, Lucy, and before I ask you, LaPorsha, what do you think the most shocking moment? So make sure that you drop your comment or your question because we can see them. Verbena is joined us. I'm gonna bring her in just a second because I know she was crying and snotting over there and carrying on. Y'all, I legit cried. Like there was 2 moments. I was just crying. Like oh my God, I was so emotional. But I'll get to my answer in a second. Lucy, most shocking moment.
My most shocking moment, because I was really a Nate hater because I didn't like how he was trying to turn on Annalise. But then I realized when he went to the prison or went to see the Castillo, the dad, that I knew that he was kind of on their side, but I didn't realize he was going to go out like that. Right. So that was definitely a shocking moment for me. Also, another shocking moment was the fact that they didn't bring Michaela's dad back.
Because Poppins.
Right.
Exactly. Poppins, right.
Because I really thought that they were going to try to bridge that piece that we thought we knew, which was Michaela. I think if they would have said that Michaela was Annalise's daughter, that would have just kind of at the end. That would have just really just been just like it. I really enjoyed that whole piece of how they kind of pulled that together. I just never thought that. Another piece that really was shocking was Bonnie and Frank going down the same time.
Yeah, I boo-hoo and cried.
Frank and Bonnie.
Hey, because LaPorsha taking it straight to the head. All right, well, LaPorsha, most shocking moment before I bring in Verbena.
I don't know if I was shocked, but just to see how everything played out, I think Frank goes down as the GOAT. I don't know. I don't even remember if I was ever against Frank or for Frank. I don't remember. But right now, Frank might. I don't know. That's the shocking part to me because I figured that he would be the one who made it out of that whole family situation. But now he is right with them in the grave. I was thinking that he would be the one to survive.
Really?
Because, he took we all know what he was responsible for. And I thought the moment where he was in there with what's the other brother name?
Gabriel. Yeah.
I thought for sure he was gonna tell him that they were brothers.
Right.
But he didn't. So now Gabriel probably will never know. And he's gone and he's in the wind anyway. So I don't know if I was shocked. I guess all of my loopholes and ends were not complete. So I don't know. I'm not shocked, but I'm not 100% satisfied either. I do like that. I do appreciate the thing because we all thought it was West, but then it turned out not to be. And I was just like, that was a cute little ending. I thought myself. So
I think
shocked, but just I don't know. I don't know how I feel. So don't ask me.
I think my most shocking. Gosh, I don't know. Well, I screamed because when we were all texting, I was like, damn, they're not going to bring back Eve. And then Eve shows up and I started screaming then. Paula, Sharon, I see you both now. Paula made, and this is probably because I can't let you live this down, Rod. Paula said, oh, no. Paula says Nate did boss moves.
Now,
because
see,
he did.
He
Tell him, Paula.
He Forrest Gumped his way to that ending. Like he Forrest Gumped his way to those things. That wasn't because what was the point of having the whole Castillo dad testify? He's gonna deny everything. Like,
Right.
you know, like, oh, Nate's Wes's confession. Ooh, okay, I got that off of Jorge. Okay, you want a cake? Like, I mean, like,
You just not gonna ever give Nate no props. Just say it.
he's not going. He ain't no boss moves. Like, yeah, he Forrest Gumped his way to that ending, but at the end of the day,
No, he didn't. He could have taken the 20 million and been out.
Exactly.
And still told the truth, sort of, because he knew what Annalise did, but rocked with her, gave her the confession, and still got his money and his coins at the end. Like, that ain't a boss move.
But listen, do you think what did you think about Annalise burning the confession?
I thought that was interesting because I didn't see the point, but maybe she didn't know whether or not Wes was alive or not. Maybe I don't know. I think that was more symbolic.
What confession was that though? Because I don't even like.
Had a confession.
And why would Jorge have it on his person? Like, that didn't make any sense
No,
to
the
me
son
either.
had it. The one they.
I mean, Xavier. Why would Xavier have it on his person?
Because he was going to turn it over to the FBI.
Ah, that's right. Because I think that's when he was supposed to be bouncing to go wherever he was going to go.
He was going to give it to the fake FBI agent, the dirty FBI agent lady. She was going to give it to Lanford, like, look what I found. And that was going to do it. That was going to do it, Annalise just right there. So,
but was it that Annalise? What was the confession? I don't remember what.
Wes had written that confession to everything as far as his involvement up until that time, and that's what was in the safe deposit box. That's why we thought that Wes might still have been alive, because there was that scene where they found the safe deposit box and it was empty.
The house burned down when he came out. Okay.
Yeah. So Verbena, I'm gonna bring you in, sis. Paula said he's still the man of the hour, and he gave the money back to the community. He said he was still gonna get his 20 million, and he got it. So, okay, fine. All right, Verbena, hey girl, hey.
Hey y'all.
Now for those of you just tuning in, Verbena is our empath. She is the emotional one out of all of us. So and it looks like apparently the biggest drink out of all of us. That's what
I made a real drink, okay?
What you drinking on, sis?
I made a sex on the beach.
Okay.
Yes.
You saw Nate naked and just brought you all the memories back when I had him in the shower scene.
So look, I told y'all Frank was my favorite character, and he went out with a bang. I'm telling you, he was Annalise ride or die, and he played that thing to the very end. And he died. That's right. So that was my most shocking moment. That, remember, I told y'all what I would like to see. The last episode was like the door shutting, the jail cell shutting, and Nate was behind, not Nate, but Frank was behind the cell doors. Mm-hmm. So it still ended with with Frank. And that was my thing. I just felt like Frank and Bonnie were the two that Annalise, treasured so dearly, and they were the two that ended up dying, that left her. But that showed her that, God, these two right here, they were there with me from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And she was crushed about that.
But what do you guys think about Tegan? Like how she just kind of was like, nah, this ain't for you.
Well, Tegan said, I'm taking my mask off too. And I said, I'm taking my mask off too, okay? Tegan said, I'm in love with you, okay? I'm in love with you.
We knew that was coming, child.
Yeah.
We knew she liked her, yeah.
Okay, so that brings me to the next question, or the next comment rather. So one of the things that I think was very powerful, well, obviously the big thing that was super powerful was her closing. Like,
oh my God. That was like amazing how she just, and you know what? I think she really felt like she was the only person that could do her closing statement, her closing argument. So she had to come from the heart. And honesty really, no matter how hard it hurts sometimes, but honesty will sell every time. And it goes to prove that at the very end, because she was honest, it got her off. Mm-hmm. It got her off.
I think that may be part of the theme in terms of, like, she took her mask off. Tegan took her mask off, although I was a little bummed about that because I still could have seen that. But, okay, whatever. But what other characters do you think really took their mask off? My answer probably would have been Connor. Connor for sure. And when he said, you taught me how, I know how to love now. Child, that took me out too. I said, Lord. And just another boohoo ugly cry for real.
But see, y'all were
Rod, before you answer, you're not gonna poo-poo on that moment. I'm not gonna let you. So let Verbena finish.
Okay.
I see you. Wait a minute. Let her finish.
Y'all kept saying something got to come out of Connor. And I kept saying, it ain't nothing left to Connor. Connor just got here on the lie, and that's all they gonna say about Connor. And at the very end, Connor could not hold water. He could not hold the lie. So he took his mask off. Connor took his mask off.
Went to jail for nothing.
Went to jail for nothing. But look, y'all, so nobody had to testify against Annalise, except Nate was on the stand and he made it work.
Well, Connor and Michaela did.
Oh, yeah, they had already testified.
And of course, Jorge, but Jorge was you knew he was going to come to court and lie.
Right.
Just lie. Just dirty lie.
Michaela ain't worth a damn.
So who else had to take their mask off? And Ron, I'm gonna let you come back to the whole Connor situation. I know you about to explode, but want to see what Lucy and LaPorsha think in terms of who else had to take their mask off during this finale.
Frank?
You know who I think? Well, Annalise definitely took her mask off, but I think the mom, right? Because when Annalise was talking to her mom about, what was going to happen, and her mom was like, this don't have nothing to do with the Lord, with the judge, with the jury. It's about God, right? And even for her to be able to sit in court and listen to Annalise,
yes,
she was sexual, right?
Yes.
That was the reason why she could not really be who she was. That got her off. That was like the pivotal point, because remember, that's why she went to Sam for help. To see a therapist, because she wanted to be gay and she just couldn't deal with that. So I think that was a really pivotal point in this episode.
What you think, LaPorsha? You need to take another sip first.
I think that, well, I would say Frank, but Frank never really had a mask on. The mask was kind of on other people, and the mask got taken off of them from his point of view. But I would definitely say the mama too, because it's probably the first time that Annalise ever really said in her presence that I'm bisexual, or I was molested by my uncle, or all these different things. So the mama had to really sit there and take it. Finally. So she really had to sit there and hear it in open court. So I feel like that would be one too. I don't know about Connor and Oliver, because they both stupid. They both stupid. Like the both of them. That's why they married, because they both stupid. I don't know. I think I already knew Tegan liked that, at least. That wasn't really a surprise. Maybe Nate took his mask off of hating Annalise. Like he really don't hate her. Like, because he could have. I'm serious. I'm just saying, like, he could have took them $20 million and shot her up the creek and was gone. Especially since you done lost your father. That's not compensation, but that's a good start for $20 million. But I think that maybe he was one person that maybe took his hate mask off and really, showed that he still cares for her. I don't know.
Well, looking back,
I feel, this is a side note. I don't know when Michaela, has she always been like this? Because I'm just trying to think back over. Like, she's always been ambitious. She's always been,
trifling.
She was ever, like, when she got there and lied, like
trifling. Yeah,
now, I never thought
selfish,
all the way full trifling, but now I know. But I was trying to probably give her the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know.
Enough of that. Yeah. All right, Rod. Let's get to
Okay.
Connor and Oliver.
Okay, so first things, by show of hands, how many of y'all really thought the mama was going to say, all you got to do is show up and God was going to show out? I thought sure that was going to be the line. I was like so disappointed when that was. I was like, we ain't going to do a Dottie people show up and show out. But anyway, okay, I was like, oh, because I was like, that. Then I would have been on the floor. So with Connor, I guess what I want to say is, it's not that. I think they did. Connor had the best character arc. Connor had the best kind of coming to completion, full circle from where we saw him start to where he finished. I think that was the best we did, because he was a hoe in the beginning. He's still spicy in the mouth, but I don't think that he really had anything to believe in, and I think that's what Oliver did, and I think that was very good, and he showed me how to love. The problem is Oliver ain't really been shit the whole time anyway, so that's why it just really.
What? You're not gonna talk about Oliver.
You're not gonna talk about Oliver. Oliver showed up, did all that stuff. Come on now.
I meant Connor. Connor.
Really okay.
Okay. Then.
Okay. Connor really hasn't been shit the whole time. So the fact that now you don't caught a whole case of morals and you want to divorce Oliver. Consistently, every time Connor has opened his mouth through the show, it's been, I don't believe you, Annalise. I don't believe you as good as you say it is. Annalise raises the dead, and then he's like looking stupid. So it was not be surprising that now you didn't confess and you done did do all of this, and now she should once again prove she's as bad as she said she was. So all you had to do is ride with Annalise in the beginning. So and then he really never established what Connor's character made him so distrustful of Annalise, right? Like, because if all you have to go on is based upon what Annalise has showed you, she's always been a better bet than you relying on your own common sense. Because look what that has gotten you. So I think that was my only thing. Oliver,
wait a minute.
Okay.
Watch your words. Watch your words about Oliver now.
Now Oliver out here playing helpless white woman, talking about he's going behind the back. All and doing all this. If they had said Oliver had split with Lane for a child, I would have threw my phone right into the TV. So because that's the type of helpless white woman stuff Oliver was on. But I was like, well, okay. So I don't want to say anything bad. Then we'll just have a whole Michaela segment because I want to give her the full fire. But I'll just say that for later. So
okay. So let's get to probably the saddest moment, which would have been our situation with Bonnie and Frank. What in the world?
So listen, y'all. I remember seeing one of the past episodes. I don't know what season it was, honey, because I have binged so much. The best sex scene in this whole How to Get Away with Murder was this scene with Bonnie and Frank. It was just like intimate, and it wasn't just bang, bang, bang. It was like there was a moment that they really felt connected because the one thing they had in common was Annalise. And it was just like that brought them together, that kept them together. And I just thought that was such an intimate scene. With all the other sex scenes they've done, I really remember and I felt that moment because it just wasn't about sex. It was about their connection. And then look at them. They end up dying together.
That I think was, I don't know if poetic is the word, but because you don't know that obviously that she got shot as well. And we can assume that Frank got shot because the governor's security returned fire. But we don't know how did, if she just got caught in a crossfire or was she coming in front of Frank once he started shooting. But who the hell saw that coming? Like,
I know.
Saw that coming.
And he went for the governor. Once again, he is still riding or dying for Annalise.
Mm-hmm. But don't you think that part of it, he found that person as a connection for all of this? Because, I mean, he obviously didn't know that Sam was his dad. And oh, God, when he went to the cemetery and was crying and he was told, baby Sam, I'm sorry. I just fell on the floor then. What is going on? I mean, and I think that was his last scene before you saw him again. So, he's got all this information. He's got the calls. you know, the fact, I think he just had such tremendous guilt. Like he had to put that in somebody or put that on somebody. Like who was the person that put all of this together that created all of this trauma for everyone? And it really obviously started with Sam, but the roller coaster after that became once the governor got involved and wanted to get back at Annalise. So, but I mean, I think the Bonnie's shooting was even more dramatic because you look down, it's like, oh shit, she's shot. And it's like, wait a minute, she can't die too. Like, what in the world?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
Annalise screaming and crying. I'm screaming and crying. It was, yeah. It was because nobody saw that coming at all. Because I just knew it was going to be somebody in a gray suit, which I assumed it was going to be Nate. So, you know.
Burkhead got it though.
That bitch needed to die. Can I just say that? In fact, I'm gonna eat another bite of my donut. Y'all talk about it.
I just hope that
training day style. He got her real good, and I was just like, dang, like he's killed so many people. I was like, nah, he ain't gonna get away with this one because this is like the one that so that was why I was kind of like not all the way shocked. I was a little shocked, but not because I was like, Frank has killed a lot of people, but I was like, you know, he didn't got away with all the rest of them, but you know, and I think that's another thing too, like how to get away with murder. Like the name of it is coming full circle too, because like I don't know how you get away with murder. You die after you kill somebody. I don't know. Like,
basically,
that's how you
other
get away with it. Is you just die too. Like you just shoot the governor on the step, and then you catch 1, 2, and that's how you get away with it. Because he can't get on trial. He can't go to jail now. So I guess he kind of got away with it, but
not really if he's dead.
No, I'm just saying as far as like criminally,
right.
But I don't know. I'm just stuck on the name of this show and how it's coming full circle too. Because like really, Annalise didn't get away with murder because she never murdered anybody.
Right.
Like, that was what was to me. That was gonna be shocking if she did get, because really she technically has not killed. Like none of those charges were. She was not guilty of any of them. Now the conspiracy part, maybe they could have got her on that. But actually, like the murder of this person, she hadn't killed anybody.
But she said that in her closing remarks. And think about it. What the show is saying, she taught the class how to get away with murder, right? Mm-hmm. So she never actually murdered anybody, as you stated. She was teaching the kids how to get away with murder. And Michaela got away with murder.
Oh,
she did.
Sure.
But I felt that, because I used to wonder about the title myself, and I felt that it was because she defended people who murdered. So it was like it was her position to get them off, and she teaches her class these ways, how to defend people who are murderers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess with the whole Bonnie and Frank thing, my first thing is just kind of superficially, don't y'all think that's a little bit too much of an on-the-nose homage to Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes, like, I loved it.
Did you not get the whole Bonnie and Clyde, Bonnie and Frank?
Yeah.
Shoot out at the end. I was like, okay. But again, I don't have a show on ABC, so I just keep my mouth shut. So,
I thought it was dope. Yes, honey.
And I guess the thing with Frank, the only problem was you done went through 6 seasons methodically, carefully killing people. Okay, you found out you're the product of incest. Okay, you found out you killed your 2 siblings. Okay, you done gave your half-brother $87,000. All that drives you to go shoot the governor? Like, I guess I just needed something more than that. I did agree with Frank. I did agree with Frank being salty with Bonnie because Bonnie knew she was in the wrong for telling Frank anyway. But I just felt like that wasn't enough to tip Frank over the edge. I feel like the show had really established Frank as being this professional, dedicated killer, but you just stayed in his bag like the whole show. I was like, we may have some more killing to do, Frank. Like, snap out of it. We may have some more bodies delayed. Like, you got to get out your bag and be about the business. So maybe that's just me because I'm just probably overly too pragmatic. I would have cried after Annalise got done, but made sure I had my gloves and my knife and my gun till we got this non-guilty thing. But that's just me.
But I think the truth that Frank felt deep in his soul, I think when he found out the truth of who he really was and where he came from, that pierced him so bad he couldn't even take it anymore. That was the last straw.
But you know what was so interesting to me now that I think about it? You think about all the killings that Frank has done. He always did it in hiding, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this time,
yes, that's right. That's what I'm saying.
And I'm gonna do it in front of everybody.
That's what I'm saying. He went out with a bang.
Taking your mask off. He finally took his mask off.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I did that, yeah.
Okay, Lucy, okay.
I mean, other than Lila, but Lila didn't really know who he was, so that's kind of like, I guess that would be a mask too, because she didn't know exactly. Well, maybe he came behind her and she was, I don't know. But that I agree with that. Like he kind of, all these people, he was kind of indirectly, or he was, away or behind the scenes with it. But like she just said, this time he was out in the open. Mm-hmm. So that's the difference too. I agree with that.
Girl, and Bonnie saw him coming. Bonnie saw him coming. She went straight to him. She knew what was getting ready to happen.
Well, she knew he was gonna do something. So she didn't know what it was gonna be, but she saw that look in his eye.
What was funny, I think I'm gonna put my 9th grade English teacher hat on. I think Roderic brought up Bonnie and Clyde, but I'm also kind of getting Romeo and Juliet vibes too, because even though Bonnie didn't kill herself, it was kind of like she was sitting here, had to deal with and react to Frank getting shot, and she didn't realize she had been shot herself. So I'm getting those kind of vibes too, kind of like a Romeo and Juliet kind of, we both die right here at the same time type of thing. So I don't know. That's what's getting coming up for me too, as an analogy. So
next question, which I think we can all agree on. Did Tegan have Jorge killed? Yep. Did you see the look on his after he got shanked, and you saw the look on her face? She had that smug look on her face when she was standing on the steps, because I was screaming at that. I was like, oh, she got him killed. Yeah. But damn, now she got a body on her, sort of.
Well, really. Because Laurel went to her with some type of monetary deal, right? So what was she saying? That I can pay you off, I can give you some property or some land or some money. What was she saying to Tegan?
Laura might have told her to have him killed.
Maybe she did. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's what she was doing. And see, the thing is, what was interesting to me, now I was so emotional at the end, so maybe I missed it. But was Tegan at the services at the end?
No,
I didn't see Tegan.
She was in the flashbacks of how Annalise's life was.
So she was in her afterwards, because remember she had the afro when they were out kind of doing salsa. So she did get with Tegan after all of this happened. But I wonder if once that happened, did she just like go away? That they kind of left that open because she wasn't at her services at the end. Our shit was Tegan dead.
We don't know. We didn't hear anything but Tegan. I was just busy hollering when Eve showed up. I was like, well, of course we didn't know that until we were like, what the hell wrong with Laura old ass?
Exactly. She played that thing backwards for us.
I said, okay. And I was like, oh shit, like that's Kristoff. Because when he said, well, who are these people? I was like, wait a minute. Oh shit, that's Kristoff. I said, but wait a minute. She did not age well. Laurel did not age. No. I'm just gonna leave that black don't crack.
And then you can see how Laurel raised Kristoff with her language. And it's amazing how it all came full circle. Now he's a professor at Middleton. Really, that was unrealistic to me. Now that was just
I didn't like that either.
But that was just too much.
That's the next question. Now, does Kristoff take on the ideas or ideals of Annalise?
Well, he called her mentor.
His life, so
Okay, well then there's the answer to that.
She saved his preemie baby life in the elevator. So I don't know if Laurel told him that story, and because he said his mentor. So I guess Annalise was a mentor for him,
right?
And so that maybe Laurel told him that story of this is who saved your life because of all this craziness that was going on. So maybe it was a way, a ode to her because she, saved his life. I mean, I don't know. You have to kind of hold that doesn't hold over your head, but it's still something to take into consideration. All this stuff that you heard about her, she still saved your life. So it's still
interesting.
But you notice at the end how they showed you really how Annalise and Eve really took their mask off and they were able to live happily ever after until one of their deaths, until Annalise died. Because it showed that her and Eve was walking hand in hand year after year and era after era until they got old. So it was like now Annalise was finally able to really love the person that she really felt like she loved.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you got that? Because that's
what I got from it.
I saw Annalise's hand with a woman. I saw Annalise's hand with a man. I saw Annalise's hand with a woman. I saw Annalise's hand with a man. And then it faded. I think as the scene cut to different places, the hands changed based upon all the different people she was with.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I may have to go back, but it looked like she was just moving through life with different people because I think that she was true. She told Tegan, I'm just not built for love. So I think that she may have cha-cha-cha or salsa with, Tegan. And
Tegan, okay.
Because remember, there was a short-haired woman she was dancing with too at some point. Mm-hmm. So I think she just went through with different partners, never really settling down in the end until she kind of died on the beach, Sean and them beaches. At the end. So,
hey man, that's the way to go. Be a little sell some little shrimp tacos on the side, chilling with a little dog or cat. I'm with it.
So maybe Shonda was indicating that after Annalise took her mask off, she was able to live freely, whoever she wanted to be with, and whatever she wanted to do, she was able to do that. Right, after she was cleared of those charges. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, that's how I took it.
So was the point of putting that younger picture of Annalise just to mess around with us? Because that's what annoyed me. Like, what's the point of that? Because then they got regular pictures of her somewhere else, but then this little young picture of her.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that was her prime picture, or maybe those older pictures are when she was not in the public eye as much. So, with the Supreme Court case and all these big cases that she had, she was more of a public figure. So maybe that was what that was for, to kind of like, this is, because, especially like if in an obituary or something, you don't have the most recent picture. You have
it's gonna be the best picture. It's gonna be the best picture.
That's what I'm saying. You pick the best picture. So maybe that was what that is like. The best presentation or what people know the most of her. Maybe she traveled with Tegan or Eve or whoever she was with. Felt the most comfortable with being herself. She was able to kind of get out of that limelight because as the lawyer in Philadelphia, she was kind of notorious and famous for the wrong reasons, kind of. And then with the Supreme Court case, that brought a whole bunch of extra fame and all this stuff. So maybe that was like the best picture that they had of when she was in her prime or when she was in her best, public years.
Okay. And so now let's get back to Miss Michaela. Because I thought it was interesting at the end that they show her as a judge. I struggle with that.
What they were showing us is that Michaela did what she said she was gonna do. She became who she said she wanted to be, honey. She persevered in her life. She's strong. She Black. So they just showing you that Michaela ain't changed, and no telling who she slept with to be a judge or whatever that was. She was getting sworn in to be. Okay.
Well, she needs to have her own segment because yeah, it was team too much. That part I was just like, come on now. But okay.
I mean,
All right.
I kind of felt her when she was talking about all this stuff she had been through and all this stuff. A little bit, just a little bit. I was like, no,
Just a little bit.
Portia apparently don't see the look on my face.
A minuscule bit, but a little bit. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, with her too, you don't know what people go through or have been through. She has a similar.
But that's the whole purpose of the show. Like that's the whole purpose of a character arc.
So she has a similar past, just like Annalise, just like Wes, just like I think that might have been part of the reason why she was picked in the first place. Because I thought that she was Annalise's daughter, but they didn't explore that, and they kind of left that open ended. But maybe that's part of her reason why she was picked in the first place. Maybe Annalise knew that she had a similar past, jacked up, whether you know your family or not, whether you're in an implant family. They both had jacked up childhoods. Right. So I think that might have been the connection that they made where, she was just like, I've been through this, and this, and this, and I'm going to be what I'm going to be. So I just think that it's not more so Michaela, but it's Connor being stupid because they gave him the same thing they gave Michaela. Because essentially, they wanted Annalise. They didn't want nobody else. They weren't in the business of putting anybody else in jail other than Annalise. So probably after Nate testified, they knew they was done. So they was like, okay, we just gonna put you off to the side. We're just gonna give you your little probation. Because that wasn't their goal. It was not to get Michaela and Connor to go to jail. They wanted Annalise to go to jail, and when that didn't happen, they probably, or that what looked like it wasn't going to happen, they probably said, "Oh well, let's just offer him the same thing we offer her." Still, get somebody, but not because they didn't get their big fish like they wanted to. So that's probably. They put all their eggs in the Annalise basket because they just knew with Connor and Michaela's testimony, and probably Laurel too, probably had the case, seemingly beat her. So
that's gonna bring. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a question for you, and I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I know it was back in season 1 or season 2, right? But it was the part that you can remember. So remember how they won it was always who won the trophy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right? I just feel like that trophy had a lot of symbolism because wasn't that trophy a part of, that's what killed Sam.
Mm-hmm. Right?
Lady Justice, Justice is Blind, the sword for truth, all of that. Yeah.
It's called a charged item. It's called, in film, it's called a charged item. So it's like the item that went, right. So it's the item that brought them together, the item that also tore them apart, and the item that killed Sam.
Right. I just feel like there was an opportunity. I know, right? I'm asking. I just feel like there was an opportunity to kind of pull that back in on the last season. Like last episode. I don't know how they could have possibly done it. I think almost I would have loved to see Tegan give that as when she got off. But it didn't happen that way because when she got off, she went outside. And then that's when all the drama happened.
Right. They go to jail. They don't need no trophy. They need bail money and money on the commissary. They don't need no trophy. They need money on the commissary. Right. Connor don't need no thing. I just want to say
he need money on his books.
He need money on his books. We don't want no trophy unless you got a file locked up in there or something. But
it's just how important that was to them.
It was that. Yeah.
Definitely a charged item, but I think the problem is, and where the criticism, like what Michaela points out, is at the end of every series, you should go back and look and see how has this character dramatically changed from when we first saw them, right? So if you can go to every character and say, okay, they've done a 180, they've done a 180, they've done a 180, they've done a 180, then the show really has brought them through a full character arc, like we're discussing with Connor before. They really didn't do that with Michaela. Like, Michaela was a very underdeveloped character that I felt like the writers kept changing their minds and discussing as the series went on what her end game was. I feel like they set it up with, at first she's going to be like the Annalise foil. Then she may be the Annalise daughter. Then she may be the Annalise nemesis. And at the end, and then, oh, she grew up with white trash. Then here comes Blackity Poppins. And, they just never could really define like how Michaela was going to change. Like if you're just going to set her up to be the next Annalise Keating, you could have done that so much better than what they ended up doing.
Or
right?
so much easier, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or
they were frustrated with her.
Yeah, so they just really never really developed her fully. Even Nate, who I can't stand, had like a real full character arc, from the first time we saw him slinging peanuts on the desk to now open up a justice center for the incarcerated.
That's an arc.
Oh, that's a McDonald's. That's a full-on McDonald's. So like,
he ain't gonna never have nothing nice to say about Nate. Lord have mercy.
Don't get too marches. That's a double. Yeah, that's a double. But I just feel like they really missed that opportunity with Michaela to really develop them. And I think that's my frustration with Oliver, was you just came on just being weak and naive, and you just, and he just was in classic crying white woman mode. You just see all these bodies, and them tears, I just felt like were, I don't know, just he's at the end of the season, he's baking cookies, and I don't know. So I just didn't see enough dramatic change for those two characters. And and that's just the nature when you have so many characters on an ensemble cast, so that's just always, there's going to be some characters left out. But Michaela was the most disappointing because, okay, you were a judge. Well, once again, Blackity Poppins is her daddy. So, there we go. So,
and she never had to take her mask off, because if she did, she would have never been in that situation. She couldn't.
That's right.
She's still when she's one of the only ones that's still wearing the mask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And will always have to wear it. All right. So, question. Then, what does this show say about the justice system? And good gracious, I'm gonna answer last. What does it say about the system in general?
Okay, so taking out whatever fictional legal quirks they had, I thought that one of the biggest pluses about the show is that I think it showed the biggest disparity between the type of justice received based upon economic wealth and socioeconomic status. If you look at Annalise's clients, even from the one that kind of killed her baby to Christoph's mom or whatever, there are always varying degrees of hurdles based upon their socioeconomic status and the kind of hurdles. Like when the clients were really rich, you know what I'm saying? It was not with the Caleb Hopsell people, it was knock out the park. When it was like this indigent, kind of, they don't have no money, it was a lot difficult, even with having Annalise as a brilliant attorney on her side. So I thought the show really did illuminate, I wouldn't say it dove deeply, but it really did kind of illuminate in a very delicious way of how wealth and income, social and economic status affects the type of defense that you can have. I mean, and now this is saying as someone I never practiced with individuals. All my clients are always corporations. So on purpose. So I always recognize that was always a disparity. So I think that's one of the main things, but I'll give some folks some more time.
For me, I feel like I learned how powerful the district attorney or the ADA is in our cities and counties. That was very revelatory for me. And behind the scenes, how they can make things happen, by coercing people or giving them deals. And I don't know, I just think that it's too much power in certain people's hands. And I don't like that.
Interesting. What you think, Lucy?
Well, I think that there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it like it gives people hope, because even after all those people were convicted, Annalise was able to go in, pull their cases back up, and free so many people, right? Mm-hmm. So those who are currently incarcerated, if they have an opportunity to watch this show, it could possibly give you hope, because I know there's lawyers out there who do this kind of stuff, right? So it kind of gave you hope. But then I also thought it gave too many people too much power.
Mhm.
Because, it's ridiculous how much money was being flowed throughout so many hands to try to get someone to lie. Even the
Right.
governor, really just thinking about the state that we're currently in our country, the fact that the governor was so involved, it just really just baffled me. Because I mean that probably is really happening now. Not saying our governor, Roy, I'm not talking about you, but you just never know, because
Roy better not mess up these votes he getting.
yeah,
Better not mess up this
crazy
thing.
how they're just involved in judicial issues to that level. And I'm sure there's somebody taking, an undercut to try to make this deal. And, at the end of the day, all politicians are just, okay, we're not going to even go there, but
Okay.
LaPorsha?
I would just say I feel like this show made me realize or feel like anything is possible with the right circumstances. Cause like it seemed like on this show, the people who they was guilty got off, and the people was innocent kind of somehow got pulled into it. So I'm like, anything is possible with the right situation and the right circumstances, legally, anything, I don't know. It's just like you had the right circumstances, you had the right lawyer, you had the right money, you had all the stars have to align, and I think that only it applies to certain people and not others. But I just feel like anything is possible when you have all the stars aligned the right way. Now, whether you are guilty and they prove you innocent, or whether you're innocent and they vindicate you, I don't know. But it just depends. It's probably a situation by situation thing. Like, if I had to call Yolanda for some advice, it might be different with the different circumstances with me rather than somebody else in a different circumstance or a different situation. So it just, to me, I feel like it's all up in the air.
Well, I think what it does also is that I think it shows that ultimately we are in a system that is imperfect. Rod, you owe me an apology because I told you it was brilliant that she represent herself, because no one could tell her story like she could. And you told me I was crazy and it's a disaster and she needed another set of ears and blah, blah, blah. Her other set of ears was her voice recorder. See, you owe me an apology. I'll take it now. Can I have it?
Oh, no. I'll give you the apology.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize. But folks listening, don't try to be Annalise.
Don't do that. Don't do that in real life. I agree.
Just so we clear, apology.
Don't do that in real life.
It was great. She could tell her story. She was the best attorney there.
That's right.
But folks, even you, especially you little third-year law school people who think y'all know everything and you just finished your criminal procedure, don't do that. But apology, yes.
One thing I was gonna say was, I thought, what was I going to say? I thought it was good that, oh my goodness, I forgot what I was going to say. I think something about Annalise and.
You've been drinking. You need a moment.
Yeah, take a sip.
You ain't on the floor.
I thought.
You've been drinking straight from the bottle. I'm gonna need. You sure you need?
You know the part where she was talking, like going back and forth with Nate on the recorder. Mm-hmm. I think that was her way to get all of that out so that she didn't do it in court. I think that was the way, because the way she was going in on that recorder, it was like she didn't really want to do that to him in court, but that's all the stuff. It was kind of like letting all of that out. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like, she was saying about, oh, well, you strangled D.A. Miller, and you did this, and you did that. Oh, didn't you kill your wife? She was getting it was like she was getting all that stuff out so that she wouldn't, I guess, maybe bring that up in court, and because I think that I honestly think that they still care for each other. Maybe not to be together, but they still care about each other in a deep way. So maybe that was a way for her to get out those emotions and get out those whatever she would have said in court to him. Because I don't even think that she crossed him because he told what she needed them to know. So she really didn't have to cross him anymore. But it was a way for her to get all of that out, just in case she did have to cross him, and maybe she wouldn't have said all of that. But I just thought that was a good scene where she was kind of like letting Nate have it in the voice recorder, so maybe she didn't have to really do that or bring all that stuff up in real life or in the courtroom. So,
well, I think as we wrap up, I think some of the major takeaways over the 6 seasons is definitely how important it is to take the mask off and what that means individually. Because I just think her closing was so powerful in that regard. Probably the fact that you really don't get away with murder. I mean, technically Michaela did, but that's because she didn't take her mask off. And then, of course, the tragedy of like knowing who you are, because I think we can all agree is like, ain't no way in hell Frank would have made it. No, through life, knowing knowing what he knew. So I think that as far as that's concerned, like you said, LaPorsha, I'm not sure who said about how he been a killer all this time and he killed like out in the public. Was that you, Lucy? Whoever said that? Yeah. That I think that's super important. So as we wrap up, what is probably one of the biggest things that you love about this show? I mean, what's the hardest thing for you to say goodbye to after 6 seasons?
The mystery.
Y'all don't get all emotional.
I think the mystery of it all. Every week, I mean, especially when the show first started, you could see how it has evolved until like every week somebody was like almost getting killed, right? So you was just like sitting there trying to figure things out and piecing this piece together. And it's kind of like now on Thursdays, I'm just going to be like, what am I going to watch on TV? I mean, I was thinking about it today earlier. I was like, maybe I'll just watch season 1 and just start over again.
Don't do it, sis.
Because I know what the ending's going to be like, right? So, but it's just
you'll catch a whole bunch of stuff.
It was just a good show. And I'm very disappointed that they didn't have a spinoff or something. I would have loved to see some type of spinoff of this show. I mean, even with the kids getting older, Kristoff now, starting How to Get Away with Murder, the class. I would have just loved to see something like that and kind of flashback to Annalise. I don't know. I just don't want it to end. It's such a great show.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I'm gonna tell you guys something. I was like Michaela on one of those episodes. Every time somebody want to get down with Laurel, she had the time, oh, be quiet because Kristoff is sleeping. I was like, if you say something about that baby one more time, okay? Ain't nobody talk. We don't care about Kristoff right now, okay? We got things we got to handle. You talking about the baby. So Michaela got on her one day talking about, girl, don't nobody care about that baby right now. We got to handle this business with you. So I'm glad Kristoff is all grown up. Now he is a little law professor. I'm so proud of little Kristoff, honey. I think they changed that baby about 3 times. See, y'all didn't get that. They changed that baby about 3 times. He looked different 3 times. And then the last thing I want to say is about Michaela. When she became a judge, maybe she is a sociopath because she a judge and she know all the stuff that she's done. She don't even care if it haunts her. She doesn't care if somebody like creeps up on her and find out everything she's done because she's gotten to where she wants to be. And definitely Blackity Poppy helped her get there because she definitely couldn't do that on her own because they gave her probation, right? They gave her probation, so she never served time. Yeah, so see, that's unrealistic, but then realistic because it's who you know.
That's definitely unrealistic. I mean, if she's somewhere where she's just elected and people don't care, or I don't know. I don't see how she gets around that because she still would have had, unless she got straight immunity, but she didn't get straight immunity. She didn't get to walk away with nothing. She just got probation, so she still had the conviction. So I don't know, but okay.
That's what I'm saying. It's who you know. Okay, go ahead.
No, I think what I'm going to miss the most, because what I really enjoyed about the show, especially considering I started this before Scandal and then meshing it with, I really love the interaction and the mentoring aspect of the show. I think Viola Davis really did a really great job of showing the balance between being the teacher and being the clinician of an attorney, and it kind of, first they start in her house and they end up at Kaplan and Gold, and she just bringing them all along with them, kicking and screaming. Because I mean, part of the thing I enjoyed the show was her constantly having to give them smoke when they get spicy, like, how are we gonna get out of this? And why didn't you tell us about this? And she's just like, well, y'all just calm down. Like that kind of rigmarole, that little two-step, I'm gonna miss. I mean, and I think that was my biggest frustration with the show, because is that I just felt like the Connor Michaela ending that means you really didn't learn nothing. Like you really just burn that little law school check in the chimney, because you did not learn anything. Like, what did you learn? And I mean, besides the fact it seemed like they spent all the time, that was the biggest thing, and I guess as they ended up getting rid of Wes, and then they got rid of Asher, and then Laura went away, the dynamic of the five just was off. Because when it was originally the five of them, there was a chemistry to it. That was the most exciting thing. But now, like, as it dwindled down, and you're like, here we go, Michaela trying to be mini Annalise. Here we go, so. But anyway, I just missed the five. I missed the original. I'm going to always miss all five of them. And somebody's going to tell Asher to shut up. And then Connor's going to go and sling some booty to get some secrets. And I just, I miss that. Like, that's what I'm going to miss the most.
Yeah, they were definitely a good balance, the five of them. Like, two of them always wanted to snitch. Two of them always wanted to
exactly
not snitch. And then one was always in the middle, kind of like break the tie. So yeah,
but Michaela never wanted to tell.
I think that's ironic too, that it was always five of them, and it was always, if it was 2 against 2, one would be to break the tie, or one would be the majority. But I guess what I will miss, I really, and now that I'm thinking about it, I really enjoyed the characters of Annalise and just bringing up Scandal and Olivia Pope. Because for me, I feel like they're flawed characters, but they always find a way to make it work. And I think that for me, as the person that I am right here today, May 14th or whatever day it is, 2020, that's something that I can, whether it's a fictional character or not, I think that's someone, those are 2 characters who I can be inspired by, because no, they're not perfect. Yes, they're flawed, but some way, somehow they get it done. And I think I missed that. I'm thinking of another character from, I don't know if y'all watch Suits. That's another legal show on USA. They used
we not going on no show.
I'm just talking about characters as far as who are flawed, but they get it done. Like Jessica on that show, the black lady on that show. So I'm just thinking about characters who are very profound in that, you can pull all this stuff about them. You can pull up all their business, but somehow they still get it done. Somehow they still work it out. And I think that's what I'm going to miss about seeing Annalise. And then, kind of ties into missing Olivia a little bit, that, these women get it done by any means necessary. And they still have some sort of conscience to it too. They still have something, they're not all the way don't care. They still have something that bring them back a little bit, just a little bit, depending on the situation. But they always have something that always bring them back to, their I guess, not a moral place, but the right side, like the white hat Olivia used to always talk about. So.
Well, I think, and I think for me, just real quick, so we can wrap it up. I think that I'm going to miss, like, who's going to be the Black female character who is strong, who is smart, who is resilient, who is real. Like, who is that character that I can look at now and all of their flaws and everything with Annalise and everything that she did that we didn't agree with, and her transition and just being herself. Like, who's going to be that person on television now? I mean, obviously from the perspective of being a criminal defense attorney, like I had to put that all of that aside and watching this, because you didn't really see it from the legal perspective in that regard. But I mean, these last few episodes were so powerful, and Viola's or Annalise's character development, like, who's gonna fill that void? Who knows? Because this was one of the few shows that showed us as Black women, flaws and all, but with all of those powerful traits versus the options of reality TV and other garbage that's out there that always and consistently shows Black women in a negative light. So I think that's what I'm definitely gonna miss. So thank you guys. We got a toast. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
One thing I just thought about as everybody was giving their remarks. Think about it. As a Black woman, Black women, Black mothers are nurturing, right? Mm-hmm. Annalise never got the opportunity to have a physical child. She had a child, but the child died. So she looked at these kids as her own. Look what happens when you don't listen to your mother. Mm-hmm. Nobody survived it. The only person that survived, they had to pay consequences, right? Mm-hmm. Michaela is out there on her own, right? Everybody turned their back on her. Laura had to run away to the woods somewhere, wherever she went. And think about Connor, and think about Oliver, all of them. Nobody listened to Annalise. And that's the thing that I think that the symbol that I want to take away from this, you have to listen to the person who loves you, your mother. Mm-hmm. And Annalise was like their mother, and they did not trust her. If they only trust her, none of this stuff would have happened.
Well, only the first murder would have happened, or the ADA Sinclair murder would have happened, but none of the rest of the stuff would have happened. So.
Right. But even, I'm just thinking about one thing, even when Ashley hit old girl with the car, that was still stemming off of not listening to something that Annalise has said, because
they just don't listen.
Yeah.
That was the point. This is what happens when you don't listen to your mama.
I was trying to make.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's very powerful. So I don't know if y'all got anything left, but we got a toast. I got a little sip left. Raise your glass. Raise your glass to the end of a wonderful show. Shonda, girl, you did that. Shout out to all the cast, all the characters, everybody for taking us on this wonderful ride that we have all enjoyed. And I thank you all for these last 3 episodes. Have had a blast. We're going to figure out what the next show is going to be. I don't know about the one that you sent us, Rod, because there's demons and I don't do that scary shit. So we're going to maybe try one episode and see what happens from there. But toast to How to Get Away with Murder, y'all. 6 wonderful seasons. Clink, 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 clink. All right, y'all. Next time on The Conversation, got to make sure that you join us next week. Wonderful Wednesdays resumes. My guest will be Dion Kelly, Assistant District Attorney Dion Kelly, and the work that she's doing with Feeding Charlotte Babies. Kyle King of Queen City STEM School. We're going to be talking with them and talking about the wonderful things that they are doing. That'll be next Wednesday, 8:00 for Wonderful Wednesdays. Make sure you tune in. Thank you, guys. It has been a real joy. Joy.
Thank you.
Thank you. So everybody, you guys have a good night. I'm on West Coast time, so I at least got a couple more hours to wind down. Bring it down. But for those of you who are tuning in as a replay, make sure you still drop in your comments. We'll see you. And of course, as always, make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to all things at the Convo Pod Show. Y'all have a good night.
Bye, Yolanda.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.